Hello everyone. I'm really excited about this video because one of my favorite people who I ask all my nutrition questions to is going to be featured in this collaboration, and I'm really excited. She is absolutely wonderful. She knows a lot about holistic pet nutrition, and I just wanted to give you a brief introduction before I go over and take some of your most popular questions that you've asked me, and I'm going to ask them to her, and you'll get to see what she says. But this is Lucy.
Hi there, my name is Lucy Jabryan. I am the owner and founder of Thrive for Life Holistic Pet Food. I have been in the industry for a minute. We also do consultations here. I love what I do. I contribute to numerous publications. I appear on TV segments such as Animal Companions just to educate the average pet owner, pet guardian on natural pet health and wellness. Okay, so key components to a good raw food diet. First things first, it has to be balanced. And you have to trust the company that they do a good job of formulating because, you know, it's not like throwing any old piece of meat to your pet and thinking yes, it's more bioavailable than processed food, but it has to be balanced. And this is where I absolutely agree with veterinarians when there is a concern with raw feeding, because when most people do it themselves, they're leaving a lot of components out. So I personally like to entrust certain companies that do the homework for me, do the research. One in particular I know works very closely with the University of Guelph, so I really do trust their method of researching and whatnot. Second most important thing for me is, of course, quality. So you'd be shocked, there are a lot of brands and companies that go to the back of the slaughterhouse, put something together and call it pet food. Unfortunately, the pet industry is not regulated. So, and if quality is something that's important to you, you know, I trust sources that go straight to the farmer versus just going to the back of the slaughterhouse, getting what they can get, tossing it all together and calling it pet food. Also, I'm an animal lover, not just dogs and cats. I love all animals, and animals that my animals eat, the way that they're treated is important to me. So if that's something that's important to the average pet owner, I would say really do your homework and finding out where companies source, because that's also very, very important to me. So there are definitely cases where I wouldn't jump to raw, and that can be based on the pet's individual needs. Across the board, I would say stage 4 liver and kidney diseases, I would not do raw, frozen raw. And there are stages where I wouldn't, where the pet has a severe autoimmune issue. Again, you don't want to jump to raw, especially if they're already on a heavily processed diet. Jumping to raw can inflict what's called the healing crisis. So that's, you know, you have to be very, very cautious. I don't switch, no 2 dogs, no 2 cats the same way. So how to switch them over is also very imperative. So for nutritional deficiencies, again, it does depend based on per individual, whether the dog or cat is an overly stressed out dog or cat, environmental conditions as well. But I would say across the board, mineral deficiencies, especially, and most pet guardians don't think about this, but when they have their water system reverse osmosis, not only does that remove heavy metals, but that removes all minerals. So it's absolutely important to add minerals back in. Also, as a farmer, I know that our soils are not what they used to be. 50 years ago, you know, broccoli calcium levels were 50% higher than what they are now. And vitamins in general are a bit easier absorbed than minerals. So I would say across the board, minerals. So adding a good mineral complex is important. Another thing that people don't think about is vitamin D. Now, I'm not talking about processed food, I'm talking about raw pet food. You have to remember that dogs and cats don't really absorb vitamin D like how we do from the sun. They have to get it from food. And if you're not feeding a good quality raw food diet, meaning the animals are feedlot animals, they don't see the sun, their vitamin D levels can be at an all-time low. One way I love personally to supplement with vitamin D is cod liver oil, which is actually a good source of vitamin A and D. Plus they're getting their converted omega-3s. So that's a great way. Another thing to consider is probiotics. Remember, the more diverse the microbiome is with the good bacteria, the better chances your pet has of a good immune system. Now, in the wild, dogs and cats catch free roaming species. So whether that's a bison that goes from plane to plane, a fish or a bird, that animal has access to so many more things than a farm animal does. So there are absolutely some shortcomings by feeding a farmed animal, which most of us do. We can't help it. It's our industry. And this is why I think supplementing, or filling the gaps as I like to call it, is so important. So a good quality fat to balance out the omega-6 to omega-3s, vitamin D, and a good mineral complex, as well as a good probiotic.